All right, let's dive right in. Today we're unpacking one of the most exciting fields out there, longevity. But look, this isn't about some sci-fi future. This is all about building your own personal toolkit for a longer and, more importantly, healthier life, starting right now. Let's get into it. I want to kick things off with this quote from Dr. Peter Diamandis, because honestly, it changes everything. We have this idea that our genes are our destiny, right? Well, the science says that's just not true. At most, maybe 30% of your longevity is locked in by genetics. So what does that really mean? It means the huge majority, that's 70% of your health span, the years you actually feel good and healthy, is shaped by the choices you make every single day. You're in the driver's seat. So if 70% is on us, where do we even begin? Well, think of it like we're building a pyramid. The foundation, the stuff that everything else has to be built on, is all the things you can control without needing a fancy gadget or a prescription. This is the base layer. Before we even get into the weeds on supplements or crazy future tech, you have to get these 4 pillars right. They're completely non-negotiable. Getting enough quality sleep, that's when your body does all its repair work. Moving your body, especially lifting heavy things, builds a strong, resilient frame. And of course, eating real food and ditching sugar. But let's talk about the one on this list that people almost always forget, your mindset. Now, you might think mindset is just some, soft, fluffy concept. But check this out. There's hard data. A massive study with nearly 70,000 people found that folks who are optimistic can live up to 15% longer than pessimists. That's not a small number. How you see the world literally, physically, impacts your biology. It's a powerful reminder that your mental health is a core pillar of your physical health. Okay, and on the nutrition front, here's a super simple, actionable rule that has a surprisingly huge impact. It's not just what you eat, but the order you eat it in. If you eat your vegetables and fiber first before you get to the proteins and carbs, you can actually blunt the glucose spike from your meal. It's a tiny change, right? But it helps you manage your blood sugar, which is absolutely key to preventing a whole host of age-related problems. Okay, so we've got our foundation locked in. Now we can climb up that pyramid to the next level, supplements. And boy, this is where things get really confusing fast. There's just so much marketing hype out there. So our goal here is simple. Cut through all that noise and focus only on what the hard evidence actually shows. So what do we actually mean by evidence-based? We're not talking about celebrity endorsements or slick marketing campaigns. We're talking about supplements that have been put through the ringer, tested in peer-reviewed studies in actual clinical trials. Stuff that creates real, measurable changes in your body's biomarkers. Because at the end of the day, if you can't test for a difference, you're pretty much just guessing. Let's look at 3 heavy hitters that really meet this standard. First up, magnesium. This stuff is involved in over 300 different processes in your body. And a huge meta-analysis, we're talking over 1 million people, linked higher intake to a lower risk of dying from, well, anything. Next, creatine. It's probably one of the most studied supplements on the planet, with more than 500 studies backing up its benefits for muscle, and now we're seeing more and more for brain function too. And finally, NMN. This one's a precursor to a molecule called NAD+, which is kind of like the spark plug for your cell's engines. It powers everything, but it declines as we get older. Well, clinical trials show NMN really works at boosting those levels back up. Let's just zoom in on creatine for a second. We all know it's great for athletes, but the new research on aging is fascinating. In one study on aging mice, supplementing with creatine actually extended their lifespan by about 9%. It's a pretty incredible look at how something that supports muscle and energy can translate directly into a longer life. And what about NMN? The benefits go way beyond just cellular energy. In one study on pre-diabetic women, taking NMN improved their insulin sensitivity by a whopping 25% in just 10 weeks. That's a huge deal, and it shows how important it could be for our overall metabolic health as we age. All right, we've covered the foundation and the evidence-based tools for today. Now, for the very top of our pyramid, let's look ahead. This is the really fun stuff, where science fiction is quickly turning into science fact, with technologies that could completely change the game for health and aging. This is the big question, right? We're getting so good at using data to optimize our diet, our exercise, our supplements right now. But what happens when technology gives us tools that go beyond just optimization and into the world of actual regeneration and repair? What's coming next? The pace of change here is just staggering. Right now, today, we have AI that can scan for things like dangerous soft plaque in our arteries that doctors normally miss. The futurist Ray Kurzweil predicts that by 2029, that's not far away, AI will be smart enough to solve most of our major health problems. And then, in the 2030s, we might see things like brain cloud interfaces. It sounds wild, I know, but the technology is moving on an exponential curve. And here's a piece of tech that's closer than you might think. Companies like Xthera Medical are creating systems that can literally filter your blood, pulling out pathogens like viruses, bacteria, maybe even circulating cancer cells. The idea is to fight something called immunoexhaustion. Think about your immune system like a computer that's been running for decades with too many programs open in the background. It just gets slow and bogged down. This tech is like closing all those unnecessary programs, giving your immune system a total reboot. And then there's regenerative medicine. You've got companies like Immunis and Cellularity that are pioneering therapies using our own stem cells to send healing signals throughout the entire body. They reduce inflammation. They help repair damaged tissue. The goal here isn't just to slow down aging. The goal is to actually reverse parts of it at the cellular level. Okay, all of this future tech is incredibly exciting to think about, but let's bring it back down to earth, back to today. If you're thinking about adding any supplements to your routine, it is absolutely critical that you do it safely and you do it responsibly. Here is a dead simple 3-step safety process. First, do your homework. Only look for ingredients backed by actual science. Second, start low and go slow. See how your body actually responds to a small dose before you go all in. And third, and this one is non-negotiable, talk to a professional. And this is why that last step is so important. A supplement that seems completely harmless can have really serious interactions with prescription drugs. For example, common things like fish oil or vitamin E can mess with blood thinners like warfarin. Even St. John's wort can interact with statins. This is why talking to your doctor or pharmacist is not just a suggestion, it's an absolute necessity. And here's one final stark warning for you. The supplement industry is famously underregulated. Studies have found that a ton of commercial products have undeclared stuff in them, sometimes even compounds that would get a professional athlete banned. This just hammers home the point. You have to choose reputable brands that are third-party tested. So, we've built our pyramid from the foundation of mindset and exercise all the way to the bleeding edge of future tech. But it all leads us to one last, really essential question. As science gives us these incredible tools to extend our time here, it forces us to ask why. You know, having a purpose, a real reason to get out of bed in the morning, that might just be the most powerful longevity tool we have. So, what will you do with the extra healthy years you're building for yourself?